when Dr. Frank Smith asked me to be on the board, I have to admit I didn't envision that this day would come with such success. But our leader, our visionary, Frank Smith, he knew it would happen, and he made it happen. The main thing that I think I've learned from this association is that most likely if the troops of color had not been involved in the Civil War, we probably would have lost.
There's also been a change to the African American Civil War Memorial in Indiana. Co-funded legislation with Congresswoman Brooks provide funding to support the African American Civil War in Indiana. All the legislation to create a federal commission to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the American Civil War. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother and the people, present to you this year the recipient of the African American Civil War Outstanding Leader Award, the Honorable S.A. Jackson.
You know, for our DC Public School graduates or DC Public School students to have an opportunity to learn more about their own history right here in this museum. Today will be a day of kickoff. I have an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old. And the first thing we're going to do, it's summer recess, right? And we're going to take them to see some special stuff. And this right here is what I'm going to bring them to see, because this is their history and this is important. Thank you, God.
No event quite chronicled in the history of human civilization like the millions of stories told during the American Civil War. Every single battle matters. Every single decision matters. Every single speech delivered by Frederick Douglass leading up to the war matters.
Yeah.
Every event, including the events of Harper's Ferry, matter.
That's right.
The Gettysburg Address, it matters. Every single chronicled event of the American Civil War, when the Negro was allowed to fight in the war, when he was able to don on the uniform of a United States colored troop, every single event in this conflict matters.
Harriet Ann J.
And the book that you
Incidents of the Slave Girl. Yeah, it's in print now. It went out of print for years, and they were doing Incidents of the Slave Girl. What, in the life of the slave? No, Incidents of the Slave Girl. My wife. But she was born in 1813.
Are you aware of any other books like the one you described? There must have been many about slaves chronicling what happened on the plantation to the women and the children.
Sure, there are plenty of she was very fluent that tell you the story of slave women. I'm trying to think of one. There's one particular about women in Mississippi, and I can't think of it right now. There's also one about Charleston, where they actually discuss how the women were treated while the war was going on, how the slave masters treated them harshly, particularly if their husbands were known to have gone off to join the U.S. colored troops. The plantation system still ran with women and children. Many of the children were taken away and sent out to work on other plantations, making, like little pennies. Some made nothing because they figured since their fathers and husbands, whatever, ran away to fight on the opposite side, they were it was really a horrible time for them. And the women protested, but surprisingly, there was a federal mandate or something written that put these women back on the plantations that they ran away from, particularly when the contraband camps got too large down south. The federal mandate was they had to go back and work on these plantations. And many of them feared for their lives because the master threatened them because he knew that their husband or their mate had run off to join the Union Army. My name is Judy C. Williams, and I'm a member of Freed. As a member of Freed, I portray Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, who was the first internationally known African-American concert singer. And she's also the first African-American documented as having sung before royalty. She sang for Queen Victoria. And she also helped raise funds for the United States colored troops along with Frederick Douglass by giving concerts.
They would come in and they use these computers to research. And anyone can come in and actually research a particular ancestor that they want to know about. A lot of people may come in, they meet here, I think monthly, and they can come and continue to research their ancestors. And so this is what this much.
And when she says descendants, she means those persons who are descendants of the 209,000 men whose names are on the memorial across the street. They are descendants of United States colored troops.
So it's like our own little history, our own Ancestry.com version.
Or they can come in and there's a database that they can access here to look up military records for their family member whose name is on the wall. And allows them to get more information.
And also sometimes you think that you might have an ancestor that's in Senator Harry and Harry Jones, curator, and Frank Smith can come in and help you research.
Have either of you ladies used the computer, and what did you find? Have you researched your ancestry? What did you find?
Well, actually, I am not a descendant. We are in here currently because we came in from the heat from having been outside, and we are volunteers. We've actually been trained as docents for the museum, and we're also members of the women's group known as Freed, Female Reenactors of Distinction, which is a group of African-American ladies who portray women, real women, during the era of the Civil War, sometimes just a little before and sometimes after. But that's why we're in here. But we do have one lady in particular that I know of, Joyce Bailey, who portrays Elizabeth Keckley. She is a descendant, and she is outside. I believe she's standing right out there in the hall.
I think I spoke to her earlier.
Yes.
The organization you're with, could you give the website if they have one, please?
Actually, you can see us on the website of the museum, which is, I believe it's www.afroamcivilwar.org.
Dorothy, hi. Be honest. Very few people know that this recipient of the award today is the gentleman who really coined the phrase, "I am a man." In 1968, he was sent by his union to Memphis to help organize the sanitation workers. He went there expecting to be there for about 3 days. He was there for about 6 months. He tells the story that he left his car at Detroit airport, expecting to come back and just pay 3 days worth of fare. 6 months later, they almost impounded his car. He felt like maybe he could just leave the car there because the tickets were worth more than the car itself was worth. But later on, in 1972, he became the first African-American Secretary-Treasurer of the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Authorities. And for years, he was the highest ranking black in the labor movement. He's also the founder of the Coalition of Black Trade Unions, an organization founded within the American labor movement to make sure that blacks and minorities had a seat at the table of organized labor. William Bill Lucey is a man who, as I said earlier, knows where his roots are. He's a gentleman who, though retired, does more now in retirement than he did when he was the Secretary-Treasurer of his union. The award that he's received today is one which is a reflection, I think, of the great work that he has done. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you a man who I call my brother and my friend, William Bill Lucey.
In receiving this award, can't help but say how fortunate I am. For those who served during that conflict, those who gave so much to this nation. For those of us who were lucky enough to spend a moment or two in the civil rights movement and the trade union movement, we're standing on some big shoulders. And I can't help but congratulate Frank Smith for his vision, for his leadership, and what he has brought to this city and to this nation. This will be a sacred spot for our young people to learn a bit more about their history and the history of this nation. So I'm just so thankful and honored to receive this award from the Civil Rights Union. Thank you very much.